Before we get started with today's podcast, we'd like to ask returning listeners to leave us a rating or review on your favorite podcast platform, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you really enjoy it, share a link to this podcast with friends or family who would enjoy hearing our weekly discussions about basketball and basketball culture. Now, on to the show.
Jim, isn't it amazing when Michigan can keep this game to a 19-foot, 9-inch game inside that three-point line? It's all there. Nice move by Steve Fisher here. Run it into the 19.
Welcome to the 19-9 podcast. On today's episode, we're talking about the 2021 NBA Draft, relating it to the NBA Finals that just finished, Team USA roster construction, especially after today's loss to France. And we finished talking about the release that just happened of Michigan, the Michigan collection that came out Friday. We talked a little bit about that. We can talk about Kentucky too, coming later this fall. I know they've had about 1 million people in the NBA draft, so we could definitely talk. We could do a draft of best Kentucky players who've been drafted, kind of post mortem. They've had so many that have gone now. It's kind of crazy to think they've gone all over the place. But I want to welcome Joe Recchio from the NBA, one of our guests here. What's up, Joe?
What's up? How are you guys?
Good. And Robert Wire also joining us, co-hosting duties tonight. So I'm going to start with Robert here, and just give us kind of the context and of what you thought of the NBA Finals, and specifically how you think the draft this year, maybe the players in it, which ones at the top could have played? Would they have even been on the court? Because it makes a difference. The Suns, for example, took the kid from Maryland and in the lottery last year, and he couldn't even get on the court, and they needed a big guy. So you think like, it doesn't even matter for these better teams, but it matters for everybody. You got to make good draft choices. So what do you think, Robert?
Well, I really enjoyed the finals personally. I like seeing teamwork, ball movement, and not so much. I mean, they had stars, but not like the biggest superstars that join super teams to win a championship. Obviously, Phoenix adding Chris Paul, but it's not Chris Paul, 25-year-old Chris Paul.
Right.
It's an older one that meshed perfectly, I thought, with their younger unit to make a really good team when they all bought in.
Makes sense.
So, as far as the players, it's just so hard to tell who would be able to play because in college you can be great, right?
Yeah.
And it's just a different level of competition. Until they get there and they start playing against them, you really don't know how they would respond.
Well, you saw some of them, in the G League Ignite, so maybe a little bit more of a preview of how they do. Joe, what do you think?
I enjoyed it. It was actually it was very good finals. I just think for Chris Paul, man, you get there in the 16th year and you don't win. I don't know if you're ever getting back.
Can't talk about
unless
it.
he just joins the Lakers or something like that.
Free agency talk. That's next week's podcast.
It was only the third time ever that a team went up 2-0 and then lost four straight. I think the last time was the Mavericks in 2006.
Yeah, well, he's got kind of a record on that, right? Going up 2-0 and blowing it.
I know. I was just happy to see different teams. It was good to see different players. I'm tired of seeing the same guys over and over again. So I thought it was a good finals overall. Though. Giannis played unbelievable. So especially for a guy that was hurt going into the finals essentially. So
15th pick in the draft, by the way.
So do you think that if Chris Paul goes back to Phoenix, that they could make another run? They're really young, so all those players you'd expect will get a little bit better, right?
I don't think so, only because they got very lucky this year when AD got hurt in the first series, Jamal Murray's out in the second series, Kawhi's out in the finals. They just got kind of lucky, I think, man. I don't know. The West is a gauntlet, so to do it again is going to be really tough.
I think they missed their chance. I think they did. They blew it on that draft pick. Chris Paul's a year older. I think the wild card, the two wild cards are Mikal Bridges, who is clearly better than I think even I thought he was going to be. I thought he'd be 3-and-D. Does he have a little off the dribble? Like every once in a while, he showed a little off the dribble. And can Ayton develop into like a person you can give the ball to score. Right? I mean, right now everything is created for him, which is great. He's ended up being really good at that, and that matters too. But that's the difference between like Clint Capella and Giannis or somebody at that level. Like Giannis can go get his own.
I think he's better than Capella. I just don't know how much.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think he's better than him. My thought on that. So you're thinking that this year's Phoenix Suns is last year's Miami team? Is that what your comparison is?
They could definitely lose in the first round.
I just feel like they have more talent than that Miami team.
The first round this year.
Exactly.
They almost lost this year to the Lakers.
Yeah. I mean,
so it's a tough call. You
figure Pelicans. I mean, and the wonky thing is, right? This is what we tend to do this all the time, right? And what happened to Miami is that they had like the weird COVID stuff at the beginning of the year. They have a couple injuries here and there. You end up further down in the rankings, and then you end up going against somebody tough in the first round. So if Phoenix was 2 this year, they still had to play the Lakers, but it was a depleted Lakers team, and then AD gets hurt. And so if it's flipped and they're 7, let's say Chris Paul pulls a hammy or something like that, and they're 7 next year, I just don't think they're not a juggernaut. That's for sure.
Well, my only thing is I think Booker's, I know that you think he has he's maxed his potential, but he's definitely shown that he's one of the upper players in the league. And I think he's going to get better. I mean, I don't know like how much better, but I think that he's going to get better. And if Bridges gets better and if Aiden just gets a little bit better, I mean, they still finished second in the conference. Yeah. Like that can't be overlooked. Like, I mean, it isn't like they were a 7th or 8th seed.
Yeah, but Utah
finished
all these
first
people
and then got hurt.
Bounced.
Yeah, but they lost Murray. If they had Murray, I think that's
Utah. That's Denver.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, Murray will be back too.
Yeah,
so.
I mean Murray was a huge loss too.
Yeah,
I mean there was a lot of people got hurt. I agree with that.
Yeah,
I just don't know.
All right, let's switch over to a little more like draft focus. Then is this a good draft?
This is what I wanted to ask Joe. Joe, how would you look at these people in the G League and overseas, and is it harder to evaluate these players now because they're so spread out compared to, before where there was, some foreign players and mainly college? Like, it kind of changes everything, right?
Yeah, I mean, the guys in the G League played, 15 games this year?
Yeah.
Like that's the sample size.
In a bubble setting, too, and we obviously saw the bubble
setting.
Yeah.
I'm a big college guy, so I believe in like going to college and actually playing college basketball. And I think a perfect example of sometimes those guys playing college basketball is a guy like what's his face on the Clippers? I'm blanking on his name now. The kid who stepped up when Kawhi got hurt. Mann.
Yeah.
Terrence Mann. Yeah. He played 4 years of college basketball. He played in a lot of big games. He played in the ACC, and I think that says something when you have that experience under your belt. You get put in a situation like, hey, you're starting in the Western Conference Finals, and he comes and drops 39 points, or Western Conference semifinals drops. You know what I mean? Like there's something to be said for that, and I think we overlook those guys a lot, and we're going to do it again this year because it's all about potential now. I understand that's how it works, but it is harder to evaluate these guys because they are so spread out, and it's only going to get harder because
I don't know if it's the same.
You see these.
Is it the same for the overseas guys though? I mean,
yeah, but I'm saying like even the high school juniors now are going to leave high school early and go play in the league now. Like it's getting tougher. You don't know who this talent's so spread out, so you're not playing against the best of the best in one spot necessarily. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how these drafts shake out.
I actually am really curious about the Turkish guy Alperen Sengun because he's analytics, he looks amazing, and that Turkish league's apparently pretty good. And I'm just wondering, like, it kind of, I could really see a shift towards some of those foreign leagues if he hits, because Luka graded out like unbelievably. Everybody was like, "Oh my God, what this guy's doing at 18 is unbelievable." And then everyone was kind of almost scared because it was almost like they were like too good to be true, talked themselves out of it. And turns out he is amazing, and you can kind of see it in the way that international basketball is played as opposed to basketball here in the United States. Luka says it's easier to score in the NBA than it is in Europe. And you could see it today because they're getting pushed around. Like, you don't get the same touch call fouls on the perimeter. These guys like Damian Lillard, who are smaller, you get bumped off your spot. You're not getting that call. Like, I think that they're like those guys from overseas, it's legit.
I think that overseas they have a better grasp for fundamentals. I think they're built more on fundamentals, more on teamwork, learning how to make their team better.
Yeah.
To where the NBA players, I feel like, they're training their whole life to get their one contract, right? Or two contracts. And it's all individually based, like, step backs or, it isn't about, hey, I'm going to set this awesome screen to get a backdoor dunk for my teammate, or to get somebody open. It's about what can I do to prove that I can get a scholarship and I can get paid.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think their culture, just the way it's a little more old school, I guess, in the way that it's a little more physical over there, I think. I think that's the thing. I mean, when you come to the NBA, Luka might come over here and be like, I can get my shot off a lot easier. I'm not getting bumped as much when I go to the lane, or if I do get bumped,
you're getting a foul, right?
The flagrant fouls are through the roof nowadays. Yeah. So, I think Europe is better than it gets credit for, and we're seeing it now in the Olympics. So. Yeah.
Okay, so I got a couple trade ideas to throw at you guys then. So I think there's a lot of trades that have been getting this tossed around ahead of the draft, and it is a good time to trade players. So let's bring up Ben Simmons because he's the one that's most out there. Like, he's being offered. Like, if you had picks at the top, or if you're the Warriors, what are you offering for Simmons? Because I think his value is low right now, but that's a good time to be a buyer on him because he is still a multiple-time All-Star, super talented guy, 25 years old. Like, there's some rookies coming in this draft class. Davion Mitchell's 22. He's 3 years younger than Simmons, as a rookie. So it ain't like he's long in the tooth.
I guess for me, I mean, don't get me wrong, Simmons obviously is an unbelievable player, all NBA caliber at defense. And I just don't like people that can't shoot. That's just my thing. Like, if you've been in the league this long and you still can't even shoot one jump shot or one 3-pointer, I mean,
can't or won't.
What that tells me is he doesn't really love basketball, because if you love basketball that much, you're gonna work. I mean, look, I watched videos the other day of Lonzo. His shot looks totally different. Really? So obviously, he's like in love with basketball. So he's doing everything in his power to be able to change his shot.
Lonzo's worse than Ben Simmons, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying is he has to. He can change his shot. It was ugly when he got there, and it already looks good now. So why can't Ben Simmons, if he cares that much, be able to shoot a jump shot?
I guess my thing is like obviously that would be ideal, right? If he does that, because then he is not just top 15 in the NBA or top 20 or All-Star, top 24. He's now top 5 because he would legit be a top 5 player, I think, if he could shoot. But even a decent amount.
Why can't he be Giannis? As far as I think, he's tall, but why can't he put himself out there? And if you miss it, you miss it, right? I mean, that's what Giannis has done, right? At least make people respect you enough to guard you if you hit one. And then eventually over your career, you can get a little bit better. But if you never do it, then nobody even has to guard you.
It's mentality, though. I think that there is the shooting's a mentality. And I think that I honestly think he's just being misused. Like, we don't ask DeAndre Ayton to go out and stroke threes or anything like that.
Yeah, so but he isn't running an offense either, though.
I know, but
he ain't controlling a pick and roll.
Okay, what about Draymond Green? He's not dropping knives. I watched him today, and I was frustrated. I'm like, what is he doing? Like, he would not shoot today.
That's one of my thing with Ben Simmons. It's like, either if you're going to be a point guard, learn to shoot. And if you're not going to learn to shoot, then move your position, move power forward. Yep. His stat line is equivalent to what Draymond Green did in his best season.
Right.
Draymond Green's best season was like 15, 8, and 8, right? Yeah. All defense, right? So if you're not going to learn to shoot, go be Draymond Green. You could be a facilitator,
right?
No, like I said, he's really good. If I'm trading for him, I just don't know how much I'm giving.
Okay, so you've got the number 3 pick in the draft this year. Would you trade it for Ben Simmons?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that isn't that they want more than that.
They do.
Like,
what if you're the
if I'm the Warriors, maybe I give him Wiseman and the 13th pick or the 14th pick. 14th pick, right?
They got 7 and 14.
Yeah, I give them the 14th pick and Wiseman. That's it. I don't think that you can.
They're going to get lowballed by everybody.
Yeah.
The Pacers offered what? Malcolm Brogdon in a first-round pick?
Right. And that's a good deal. They should have took it.
This from a Pacers fan.
He's
I like
solid.
Malcolm Brogdon a lot. I do. I like him a lot. But But come on, I mean, like the value is down. Last year, you wouldn't have offered that because you knew.
Oh no, I
Exactly.
agree. But on that team though, if you have Malcolm Brogdon working with Embiid, that's a scary little duo.
I mean, I agree with that, but at the same time, I honestly don't think they're going to trade Ben Simmons because I think they're going to get lowballed by everybody, and then they're going to be like, you know what, we'll give him a year. If he doesn't learn how to shoot, look, all he has to do, like Robert said, all he has to do is be respectable. Where like they have to respect that you could hit a three, And for free throws, let's be honest. I've seen DeAndre Jordan do it. I saw Andre Drummond do it. They went from putrid free throw shooters to like 65, 68%.
Yeah,
and that's all you got to do. That's all. Then they won't foul you in a late game situation where you're guaranteed to miss. Then. So it's not that hard. And I hate when people say, well, oh, maybe he can't learn to shoot. I've watched plenty of people learn to shoot. Michael Redd couldn't shoot coming out of college, became a great three-point shooter. Lonzo Ball became a very good three-point shooter.
Kidd.
It can be done. Yeah. It can be done.
I do think there's something in being the unwillingness to shoot that is hampering his career, where people know you won't shoot. Like that does mess with. Like you have to be, even if you're gonna miss it, like you have to make people, like you have to hit it every once in a while and make people think about it. Same thing with free throws. Like you have to be willing to be aggressive and take it to the basket, knowing that
the
you might
playoffs,
get fouled.
right? Giannis started. What did he hit? Like he hit a ridiculous amount of free throws in that last
17
game.
of 19.
But if he wouldn't have kept going the line before that and started building his confidence up,
right?
There's no way he does that.
Okay,
I think real quick, I think Ben Simmons got a case of the yips in the playoffs.
So you think he's getting traded or not?
I agree with. I just don't think they're going to get enough. And they're going to, but I just think they're wasting time with Embiid. Like they need a point guard. Like if they could get like Chris Paul, that would be unbelievable.
Kyle Lowry's out there.
Kyle Lowry,
either one of them. Somebody do a pick and roll with Embiid.
He's going to the Lakers.
I hope not.
All right, I got another one for you guys. Would you trade the number 1 pick for LaMelo Ball?
Yes.
Oh,
this year?
Yeah,
no.
This year.
Really?
This year, no.
Huh.
I like.
You're
Cade
that
Cunningham
high on Cade.
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh,
man.
Really?
He's exactly what the NBA loves right now.
Yeah.
He's that Jason Tatum, Luka type player, 6'8", plays 4 positions, can handle the ball, can shoot, can do everything. He's like the prototypical today NBA player. And I'm not saying Ball isn't, but I just think Cunningham's ceiling might be a little higher. He played really well this year at Oklahoma State, like really well.
What about what's his one skill though? Like LaMelo, I would say like just creator. Like he is.
He's
unbelievable.
a creator, yeah.
You think? What about Cade? What's his NBA skill that pops? You know what I mean? That's why I was asking Robert earlier. Like he's good to really good at pretty much everything. But what's he great at?
I don't know if he's great at anything yet. But
see, I don't like that.
See, but again, you just said before. Hold on. You just said before though. When he was ragging on Weissman, guys get better. Takes time.
I know, but
that's because I liked Wyatt. That's because I
Ball had a good first season, though, right?
Right.
I mean, he had a good first season. So, I mean, what's your ceiling then for Ball? Like, what do you think he can become?
He's gonna be multi-time All-Star, right?
Yeah,
he's gonna be multiple-time All-Star for sure. But I think Cunningham can be multiple-time All-Star also.
You're thinking he's a All NBA?
And I think both of them could be All NBA players.
Wow.
Cunningham's gonna get the keys to the kingdom in Detroit. They're gonna be like, here, your team.
Yeah,
your
poor
team.
guy. He's getting Detroit.
Okay, but I'll give Detroit a little credit. I think they've done a pretty good job so far. This new GM he got rid of a lot of garbage and he took chances on a lot of guys that were kind of cast-offs from other teams. And he's starting to find little pieces here and there. And I think eventually it's going to turn their way. And I think Cunningham's the first sector. Them getting the number 1 pick was huge for them. They needed it in the worst way. So
let's talk a little Team USA. What in the world do we need? Because we've now lost 3 out of the last 4 games.
We need a creator.
I mean, they looked bad at times today. Like not just.
Yeah.
I mean, they got outscored like 18-5 in the third quarter at one stretch, and then at the end, and then to close out the game, something similar. It was like a
10-0, 16-0 run, something like that.
Something crazy where we could not generate offense, which. I'm just like, I was watching it apoplectic. Like they got good wide open shots too that they were not hitting, but they were not being aggressive at all. Like I don't know if they were just, too, kind of don't know each other, so they're deferring too much. Or I also wonder too, because they got absolutely cremated in the third quarter with the 2 bigs. I mean, Rudy Gobert looked unbelievable. Like he just got smoked in the playoffs, and he was absolutely dominating a team, like a team of all really good NBA guys. So I'm confused sometimes with overseas basketball, but I do wonder, what players they could have, maybe even out of this draft. I mean, why wouldn't they have Cunningham and Mobley on Team USA? We had Shaq and Leitner back in the day. What would be the harm of having those guys on Team USA, even if they're just sitting the bench? I think they could be awesome out there, though.
So I just think that this year's a little different because in the last, 3 Olympics, they changed their culture where it's like we have a training camp, we have 50 guys in there, we whittle it down, we put together a team. And this year it was like, we just need 12 guys that are willing to go to Japan this year.
Yeah.
And then you got 3 of them that were playing in the finals, so they weren't there the whole time.
Right.
Then you had Beal go out. You had, I forget, Kevin Love go out. So then it's like, JaVale McGee, Keldon Johnson, you're in.
JaVale McGee? What?
That's the best you can do.
The construction of this team is not good. There's no chemistry. But I think also part of it with them that bothers me is like, you guys, look, I know France is good. That was the worst team to play first because they're probably the best team besides the USA. But they got to impose their will on teams. Like Kevin Durant's got to just impose his will. He's better than everybody. Yeah. Just go. I know even if you're struggling from shooting, just
you got in foul trouble though, and that was it. Like, and the reason he's getting in foul trouble is because he's playing center for us.
Like, well, that's the other thing. They don't have enough bigs.
Yeah, he's
why
playing
doesn't they
center.
have Zion? Is he not USA?
He didn't want to play
Because he's like the perfect for this.
Why
right?
isn't Trae Young?
Bully ball?
Why isn't Trae Young there?
Why aren't a lot of guys
They didn't
there?
ask him. I'm pretty sure that he got stubbed, didn't he?
I don't know.
Traded.
I don't know, but I don't know. They asked a lot of guys.
There was some stuff out there where it's like he said he would go if he was asked, but then somebody said he was asked, and he, kind of his people through back channels said he didn't want to. So I don't know.
But even at the end, the McGee choice, apparently Julius Randle really wanted to play, and they were like, "No, we'll take JaVale McGee. I'll take Julius Randle all day over JaVale."
Right,
McGee.
Oh,
exactly.
no question.
Yeah, I don't need.
No question.
So I don't know.
That. Yeah, but I think we're in trouble. Like I really do. Like.
I mean, one more loss and they're not going to win the gold. Basically, I mean, they have to.
Well, they're in pool play.
Pool
so
plays.
They're going to win the next two.
How many days do they have before they play again?
So they play on Wednesday and then on Friday. So they play Iran next. Which, if we lose to Iran, it'd be the biggest upset in in basketball history.
Absolutely.
And then we play Czech Republic, which we also that would be an unbelievable upset to lose to them. So we'll get out of pool play, but then it's single elimination, and then then we've got to beat Australia. Obviously, we already lost to them. They're in there. Spain, although they're older, we lost to Nigeria already. France, we already lost to. So there are teams that can beat us, and they're all big.
We didn't have Booker, Middleton, and
like Spain is huge.
Holiday.
I think, but the problem isn't the perimeter; it's the creation, the shot
size.
creation, like you said, and then the size. Like there's no Steph Curry, there's no Chris Paul, Jason Kidd, like that guy that sets the table for everybody. That kind of distributes the shots out.
They do have Lillard though, and they do have Holiday, but I think the big
Holiday played really well.
I think that we underestimated that. The Europe game is not, or the world game, I should say, is not like the NBA game. They still play with bigs, and they have a lot of these teams that are very big, and we don't have any.
Yeah.
So it's Bam, and then Draymond. Draymond's undersized.
They're little. Like those guys are not that big.
And that's it. Bam's undersized.
McGee's not playing though. Like that's
exactly. McGee's there just in case.
Yeah, and so that's like someone gets hurt.
Yeah,
that's
even Jeremy Grant's one of our bigs. He's skinny. He's 6'9" and he's skinny.
Why didn't they have Aiden? Why didn't they ask Aiden?
Oh, he's not a U.S.
He's not
US.
Bahamas technically.
Yeah, Bahamas. So he could get for 24. He could be in but he's not. He'd have to apply for citizenship.
Gotcha.
He hasn't played, so there's a weird rule because that's why we can't have Karl Anthony Towns because he played overseas for Dominican Republic, so he's out. But Ayton hasn't played for them, so he could still apply and play in 24. But
I also think this is a weird year just because of COVID and everything that happened, where these guys are kind of worn out after these last 2 seasons, and it was just like a lot of guys are probably like, dude, I need a break. I'm not going to play in the Olympics. I'm not going to go over to Japan and do this. You know what I mean? Like they played the shortened season last year, or the elongated season last year, and the shortened season this year. Like I think it was too much for some guys.
It's a lot. It is a lot. There's no doubt about it. Well, part of the reason I wanted to bring that up is because we're going to get into the mock draft. I want to go top 7 since that's where the Warriors sit at 7, so that's kind of a nice spot. And I'll have
we can't go top 8 for my Magic.
We can.
Joe, you can talk about as much as you want.
We'll let Joe select for the Magic. We'll just listen to your selection. Got to be Kuminga, who's going to fits perfectly there at the Magic.
That's right next forward, right?
Right next to all the other super athletic forwards who don't know how to play basketball. what we did, because the Olympics in '04, when things went downhill for the USA, basketball really changed in the United States, where it became more pass oriented, free flowing, offensive, perimeter oriented, and now we've seen the last 3 MVPs in the NBA have been European guys. So I'm wondering though. There's Joe was just hitting on it, and I'm glad he did that. Is that there's these big guys out there in Europe? Is it going to zag more that way? We've already seen the push that way a little bit. Giannis, despite having guard skills, plays a lot like a modern big man. Ayton, everybody shouted that out. Gobert, and now in this year's draft, you've got Mobley, you've got Towns, if he ever can put it together. Anthony Davis won it the year before. Like, is that the way? Is that the zag that's coming for the NBA? Like these super, tall, big guys. I mean, even down there, you got Holmgren that's going to be at Gonzaga this year. Who's the French guy? Does anybody know how to say his name?
I don't know how to say his name. I know you're talking about.
I mean, you should see this dude. He's like freaky. Dambu or something like that. Yeah. But I mean, he's like, it was weird watching him and Holmgren because they're like the skinniest people I've ever seen. And this guy's even bigger than Holmgren, and he's got skills. Yeah, like he could be the number 1 pick next year. But anyways, that gets us to the mock draft. So I wanted to see. So Robert's going to go first. We'll all get a chance though to just select our number one pick. We'll see if we've got any differences in there. So the Detroit Pistons, Robert, who are you going to go with? And after each person after we all make our pick for number 1, we could have a little discussion about each of them. I
think you go with Cunningham.
He's going Cade Cunningham.
But my question though is
to Joe. Got a question already?
Yeah, to Joe about Cunningham is, what do you think Detroit could get for this pick? Because this was my big discussion back, when Zion was out. And I told Aaron back then, I was like, man, I would trade and get Morant and get picks. Because I just never saw Zion becoming the player.
What about now?
I still would have done it. Like, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong.
Good player. Oh
he is, God. But if he had John Morant, you don't think John Morant's a good player? If you could have,
he's not as good as Zion.
Zion can't stay on the floor.
What are you talking about?
He was pretty healthy this year.
Yeah, he was pretty good this year.
He's pretty healthy.
We're gonna check the stats on that one.
I'm just not a big.
I can tell.
Yeah,
he's like Ben Simmons to me.
Oh my god!
Boy.
He just compared Zion and Ben Simmons.
I did.
Tough crowd here.
I know.
No, I didn't say he's awful. I mean, he's a good player.
He shoots all right.
But you could have got
more than Ben Simmons.
You could have got an arm and a leg for when his draft was, because he was like the LeBron James. Like, you could have got probably 8 draft picks and a pick in that draft.
Yeah, but the whole point of getting of the draft is to get a guy like Zion. You got him. Yeah. Like, that's it. That's it. Like,
but what have the Pelicans done? I mean, they have a really good team.
Doesn't matter.
Why aren't they doing more?
They made a terrible hire.
Well, here's part of the problem. They've had 3 different coaches in his 3 years there. They they got rid of Drew Holiday for some reason. Obviously, obviously Drew's made a little difference for the Milwaukee Bucks. So they've just made some poor decisions besides Zion. So they got to get that. They got to get that together.
Yeah, but I
don't think he's going to be there.
No, that's what I'm saying.
I don't think Zion's going to be there for the long term, but that's a whole other story.
Chris Paul to the Pelicans. Back to the Pelicans.
Maybe.
Hey, they could do it with 3 straight teams, right? He took the Oklahoma City. Now the Suns.
Yeah,
sidetracked. All right, Joe.
I pulled you out. Sorry.
Number 1 pick.
I do agree with him. They could get a lot for this pick.
Yeah.
Especially because it's not as much as Cunningham has been the consensus number 1. It's not like he's a surefire lock going to be a superstar. So they could definitely get a lot for it. But there's a lot to be said for Detroit not having a number 1 pick since 1970. Bob Lanier was the last time I had the number 1 pick.
That's crazy.
They need something to just invigorate the fan base,
like
and to get the number 1, and to get the number 1 pick, and to get a guy that's the consensus number 1. It's going to be big just for the team in general. I think Cunningham's a pick. Again, I think he could be like Jason Tatum for sure. Like, I think he's that kind of player. So,
all right, I'm changing it up on you guys. I'm going number one pick, Evan Mobley. This fits right into my theme of the night. super mobile big guy, like fluid athlete. Like that's the thing. Like his athleticism, defensive skills pops off the page where I'm just like, this guy is going to, has a chance to be Anthony Davis or has a chance to be at least, at the low end could be Chris Bosh, DeAndre Ayton. He's got to fill out more, but he's got all the skills.
You can't compare him to Anthony Davis in college was just a monster.
Okay, but they're very similar in the sense that Mobley dominated the Pac-12 the way that Davis dominated the SEC. He won every major award.
Yeah,
every single award.
Davis also had
I saw a stat on Davis when he was in college, and it was I can't remember what it was, but it was just
playing with
insane.
5 pros. I mean, he's playing with 5, 6, 7 other pros on that Kentucky
Mobley's
team.
playing with less talent than Davis did, for
way
sure.
less talent. Like that USC team, not as good.
I think you're underplaying how good Davis was.
Well, this isn't about Davis. I'm comparing him to Davis, but I think he's better than Cade Cunningham, is what I'm saying, and that's why I take him. I take him number 1. If I actually had the choice, I'd trade it.
You're definitely trading.
I think Mobley's going to be there later, but I would definitely trade with Houston, Cleveland. Give me a call.
You're trying to pull a Boston when they traded Trae Young for when they got Tatum.
They got Tatum for the guy that no one even knows on the Orlando
They could possibly
Magic.
get him a number 3, so it might be a good deal to trade down.
Markel played well towards ACL.
Jalen Suggs, you guys could maybe get Jalen Suggs. Maybe he'll fall.
He's not going to fall in the top 4.
To Orlando, maybe.
You never know.
Yeah, it ain't happening.
All right,
it ain't happening.
At the number 2 pick, what you guys got? Cunningham's off the board for you guys. Houston Rockets are up.
Evan Mobley, I think him and Cunningham are the 2 best prospects. Mobley, like you said, he's got everything. It's just a matter of filling out and getting a little bigger. But the Rockets are devoid of a lot of talent.
Do you trade Christian Wood then?
That's what I was going to get at.
I would try to, because I got to be honest, I like Christian Wood, but I think he got a little overhyped this year in a way. And it's like, if his value's high, you might be able to get something good for him. So,
is it a possibility that you could trade the Warriors for their 7th and their 14th pick?
For Wood?
No, for the 2nd pick. Or maybe get even more. Maybe get Wiseman.
See, but here's the thing with the Warriors. I think the Warriors picks are getting shipped out for like a superstar.
Yeah.
Well, I just didn't.
The Warriors did the Weissman experiment, and they're like, he's too young. Yeah. We're trying to win right now.
I think they would do. I think they would do that.
I think Houston would do it. Yeah.
But then I think what the Warriors would do is they'd flip the 2 pick for Damian Lillard or Bradley Beal or somebody like that. Like they don't want the 2 pick, because that's the thing about draft picks. Like, again, even the very best players, LaMelo was awesome last year.
Yeah, but it could be a 3 trade.
He's not going to.
Washington get 2nd pick.
Yeah,
and
that's the way to do it.
The Warriors could get Bill.
That'd be the way to do it.
And then they could get 2 picks out of it.
Yeah.
If you're Houston, I get that you want to have. I still think that as good as he is, Mobley, I think that you could go down in this draft maybe to 3rd or 4th, and you still have just as good a chance to hit a superstar.
Maybe.
I mean, I don't think he's guaranteed superstar. Like, I just don't
throwing superstar around right there.
Because I'm just saying, like, if you can get 2 good, I mean, they're not going to get good by 1 player.
Yeah.
No.
They're not turning it overnight.
No, but that's not.
And by the time this guy gets good,
he might be going somewhere.
He's going somewhere else.
Maybe.
Right? I mean, that's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
By the time this guy gets good, maybe John Wall's contract will be up.
You hope so. They'll have re-signed him.
Well, he got at least
max extension.
Talking about jump shots, at least he found his.
Did he?
No.
he shot the ball better this year, but let's be honest, $40 million a year for John Wall right now. No thanks.
See, that was one of the guys when he got drafted. If he gets a jump shot, man, he's going to be.
Turns out he didn't need it when he was the most explosive athlete on the planet.
His first 5 or 6 years, he was unbelievable.
Yeah, this is why I'm not that worried about Ben Simmons the next couple of years. If he could just be willing to shoot, he's
not
be
as
all right.
fast as John Wall.
No, but he's 6'10". That helps.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
All right, who's up with their 2 pick? Who are you taking?
See, this is where that's why I was asking about the G League. I don't know how to evaluate or trust the numbers of.
Well, they're playing against pro players, but
they're not playing against
men.
But
like
in college, you're playing against pro players too.
Depends. You always tell me about how the Gonzaga guys aren't.
No, they're not. They're playing against nobody.
Well, there you go.
Until they get a tournament. I won't say they never play anybody, but
yeah.
I guess I would probably go with Mobley too.
All right, Mobley. with the going to
But I'd probably try to trade it.
yeah.
That's just me though.
I'm down on Cade Cunningham, so I'm taking Jalen Green second. I'm
Never gonna happen.
It could be, I could be wrong, but I really do. I'm gonna bet that the G League experience is worth more than college basketball. I actually value it a little bit more, just because I think that those guys on a night to night basis, the level of talent that you're playing against is just.
What about the level of defense?
It's just better. I think it's better.
The level of defense?
I think so. I mean, and you're shooting from the pro 3-point line. You're not shooting the college 3-pointer. You're not running these weird college offenses and defenses. You're not going against Tennessee school for the whatever the D2 school that you're playing at the beginning.
Gonzaga plays for the first 20 games.
Exactly. Like, it's legit competition. Guys that want to take your lunch. And I thought he was really good. I watched some of the tape.
They're not taking him second. They're trading. There's no way they got Cunningham on the board and they're not going to take him and trade him. There's no way.
Depends on what his value is. That's what depends on what I'm getting for him.
Regardless of what we think, Detroit's basically said they're taking Cade Cunningham at this point, right?
Yeah.
So, I could see Jalen Green going number 2, though.
Yeah.
I could see that.
I think
it's a better fit for Houston.
What did we see this year? In the finals, that was important. Like, explosive perimeter scorer. Devin Booker was super important. Drew Holiday, when he had it going, was unstoppable. And then Middleton, he's not as explosive, but I mean, he can get his shot off against anybody. I mean, you need a perimeter scorer like that. Is a if you can't get a big guy, this guy can get to his spot anytime he wants. Like, he's going by guys in the NBA, because you can't touch people in the NBA. He's going by anyone.
Why isn't he number 1 then?
I think if he had gone to college and had the exposure that the other guys had, he might be.
He didn't get seen as much, definitely, by playing that.
He's in the bubble.
A 15-game G League bubble was just not enough.
But Wiseman barely got seen at all last year, and he's still number 2.
That's a different draft. That's about the talent in that draft and the unknown quality of the
what about Garland?
Almost.
Yeah.
Garland didn't play much, and he still got drafted high.
He shouldn't have. But I mean, they took a swing on him, and I mean, it looks like it might work out. So
he actually had a pretty good year.
Yeah,
so if you could have a choice between Green and getting Colin Sexton, who you taking?
Oh,
I'll take my chance with Green.
Yeah.
Green's got superstar potential.
Just more athletic.
Yeah. Colin Sexton's been good in the NBA, but Green has potential.
Yeah. Just way more athletic. Like,
much higher ceiling, I think. Much higher,
bigger
ceiling.
too. He's bigger.
He's 6'6". He's a big dude. Yeah.
So I'm guessing you're taking Joe Green number 3 then.
Yeah. Look, I think Cunningham's going to go 1, and then I think Green or Mobley are going to. I think the top 3 is set. It's just a matter of what order 2 and 3 go in at this point, basically.
Interesting.
Because I can't see anyone else jumping into the top 3 really. So those 3 are going to go first. It's just a matter of what Houston prefers, and then whatever Houston doesn't take, Cleveland will take, because they all need help. So it doesn't really matter at this point. And I think those
they all might be the worst teams in the league next year too.
Those 3 have the highest ceilings, I think, of everybody in this. Like, they could be superstars for sure.
Yeah. So you're taking Jalen Green 3.
Yeah.
Robert, who you got 3?
Green.
Yeah.
I mean, I was on the fence with him going second too, because I thought that he'd be a better fit for Houston, but I felt like, the better player was probably going to be Mobley. So that's why I picked number 2. I would, like I said, I would try to trade if who's number 3 is
it's Cleveland is 3.
Yeah, Cleveland. I mean, if you can convince them that you're going to take Mobley and they want Mobley, you could maybe package a deal where you're only getting a pick, but you can throw in a future pick or get something else for it.
Yeah, all of these teams,
make them believe you're going to take.
Yeah, if another team approaches you,
because they don't want Green,
picks,
right? They have too many guards now, right?
Well, I mean,
I don't know. They're talking about trading Colin Sexton,
or not, not. They'd have to sign and trade him, right? Because he's a free agent.
No, Jared Allen's a restricted free agent.
Yeah.
So Sexton, isn't he?
No, Sexton's not yet.
He's not restricted.
No.
Talk about players that have been in the league very long.
He only finished his second season? Yeah, third season.
And I'm pretty sure he had a really good season.
He did. He was 25 points
24,
a game.
Yeah, 24, 25 a game this year. He played well.
Yeah.
But I think the Jared Allen situation for them is big too, whether or not they re-sign him. Because if they think they're going to re-sign him, then maybe they don't want to take Mobley because they're just duplicating at that point. But I think at the end, those 3 are the top 3 picks.
Oh, so
pick
he's
your order.
so that's what I'm thinking of is that so Colin Sexton's weird situation. It's with the qualifying offer, so he's going to be in his 4th year. So the trick is
Fourth year, yeah.
If they're not going to give him his extension, and I'm sure he's going to want a max extension. Then you get in that weird situation where you have to extend the qualifying offer. If he accepts it, then he becomes an unrestricted free agent next year. So it makes more sense to trade him because then it's like you could lose him for nothing otherwise.
Yeah.
So here's my question for you guys. So I asked the question earlier, would you trade for him? He's a 22-year-old that just averaged 24 points a game.
I would. Yeah.
But why would you want Green over somebody that just is 22 and just averaged 24 points a game?
There's some weird stuff about him. Like
Isn't he a dog?
Well, I like him actually, but
he's a solid defender. He's not a great distributor. He's not a natural point guard.
Yeah.
Like Garland's more of a natural point guard than he is. He's more of a scorer. I know a lot of Knicks fans who are like, I don't want Colin Sexton because I know his name got thrown out with the Knicks. I just think again, like I wouldn't say he's hit his potential, but like I don't think he's ever going to be a superstar. Whereas if you're the Rockets or like a team like that, Jalen Green could be a superstar. He could be a bust too, but he could be a superstar, and he's got that superstar potential that Colin Sexton doesn't have.
I think a lot of people are worried that maybe he's like this is where guys.
He's a good player on a bad team.
Well, when you're 22, right? There's kind of this weird fork in the road. Like, are you Devin Booker or are you Andrew Wiggins? Because Wiggins is like 25 points a game that 1 year, and you're like, dang, 25 points a game. He's pretty good, but they're terrible. Phoenix also Booker's hit, and he's unbelievable 25 points a game. Sometimes it's about like what team you get to. And it's about your mentality. Booker seems to have turned that corner and became a real dog. Like you said, like maybe he's got some of those qualities, but there's some weird like locker room stuff that I heard about Sexton. There's just there's like some red flags.
So is he like
that he might
Russell,
not be
like, D'Angelo Russell,
he could be,
yeah.
But nobody
wants to play with him.
Yeah,
kind of type
yeah,
guy.
that's what I was getting at.
That's the difference. Like people seem to love to play with Booker despite him shooting a lot. That's kind of like a tricky line.
Well,
to
he
walk.
got better though. I thought let's getting off topic again.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I thought he got better in the playoffs about picking his spots when he shot and stuff. Booker.
Yeah.
I thought he was a better team.
All right, my third pick. I'm going to make it easy. Good. We can move on. I am gonna go Katie. I thought about going with Jalen. I love Jalen. I love Jalen Suggs. So I'm gonna do.
You're just doing it for debate.
I'm not. I'm gonna do the fourth. I'm gonna do the fourth pick. But I really did think about Suggs because I think it's a lot about like culture. You saw how much Chris Paul made a difference in culture. Like Cleveland just does not have like. They've got Kevin Love out there just like quitting on the sidelines, like not even playing. Like if the one thing you can say besides that, I think Suggs could be Jason Kidd as a ceiling, which is, by the way, an all right ceiling. But he's gonna shift the culture of the school. Like you saw in that national championship game, like Baylor was absolutely wiping the floor with Gonzaga, but he was out there busting his tail. Like he did not think that they were going to lose that game, despite if everyone at home watching, knowing that they were going to get slaughtered by Baylor. Like he was out there playing like he was going to take over the game and win, and that matters. I just think
it
that
does
matters.
matter, but
I don't see that in Cunningham. I love Cunningham as a theoretical.
So
basketball
you think
player.
Cunningham's more of a Wiggins?
I think he is. I think
you're thinking he's Wiggins.
I think he has. I'm not saying that he is that because these guys are all too young to say that, but I think that he veers more that way than a guy like Suggs. Suggs clearly is going to like run through. He has that mentality where he's going to run through a brick wall, and there's just a little bit something when I watch Cunningham. He's so smooth. Like he could be like end up being like Luka in that vicinity.
I thought I read
as
somewhere
a
where
player.
he's like a humongous gym rat.
Really, I don't know.
I think
I've heard that too. Actually,
they had like I thought I watched one. They had like a little documentary on him and how like.
Well, come on now.
Well, they were just talking. They were just talking about how like since he was little, he would always be in the gym.
Yeah, I watched the Stephon Marbury documentary too. It made him look very, very
he was
nice,
really
too.
good.
He was, but I'm just saying there were some things in there though that might have been derailed him as a Hall of Fame candidate. And I'm just saying like there's no question that that's the cool thing about this draft is I think the top 4, maybe even 5 picks are tremendous. I also think like Scotty Barnes like. He's not out of the question for me at 3 because he's just
why isn't he?
He's just more athletic. Like he's more athletic, more of a.
It's
natural.
all because the thing about it's all about potential. All about. I mean, that's the thing that kills me. Like it's like Suggs can't shoot threes, and you guys they're like,
Well, I
well,
wouldn't say
he's a
that.
shooting
No,
guard.
Suggs not a bad shooter at all.
But he's not.
why
He's
are you
not like
saying
a
that?
high level 3-point shooter.
Well, I mean,
No,
But he's a
no,
shooting
but
guard.
considering-
He's a shooting
No,
guard.
he's a point guard.
He's listed as point guard.
He's a point guard.
Yeah.
He's going to run the team there. Put it this way, he's about as natural as a fit for Toronto at 4 because they're going to lose Kyle Lowry
Yeah.
and you're going to just slide Suggs right in there and
Yeah.
you play him and Van Vliet together.
They're going to be
back,
awesome together.
You're back to where you were with
Yeah.
because he's going to slide and replace Lowry perfectly. I think.
Yeah. I love
I like Suggs a lot. I want him to fall to 5 in the worst way for my team. It's not going to happen, but I think he's a great player, man. I really like him. I think Toronto is going to luck out and get him. And again, you're just.
Yeah. Who are you going with at
gotta
4
look
then,
at
Robert?
the
You sound unconvinced about Suggs at 4. Everybody else has gone Suggs at 4.
I mean, no, it's the fact that I feel like all of them are based on potential. Like the next,
That's
like
the draft.
But I mean, like they
The
have
entire draft is.
well, but like I really like the Mitchell. I mean, I don't think he's going to go that high.
wow. I think he
No.
might get. I think
You
he
know,
might
but
get him
I
with the
think he's-
Pacers at like 13.
I hope so. I think he's a dog, and I think he's going to be really. I mean,
Man, he's little
He
dog.
went right at Suggs.
Just so you know, his measurables were
yeah,
horrible.
but he at one end he
His-
shut down Suggs,
his
came down,
measure-
hit a 3 in his face.
his-
Like that's still real.
His
Like,
measurables are small. He's smaller than me. Like
I get that.
That's bad. Like I'm not a big person. Like just being real. Like I've got a bigger wingspan than Davion Mitchell. That's bad.
and I get that.
Like I just think like that's danger zone for
No,
a
and
pro,
that's what
a
I
pro
didn't say
player.
that they should
A
take him.
lottery
I'm just
pick.
saying, like, like in the past, that probably would have made a difference.
You can get that guy at you can get Jalen Brunson at 30 though. I just think you can get a Davion Mitchell type later in the draft. There's another one of those guys.
No,
out
I
there.
would take Suggs as 4.
Okay.
but it's like I've told you before how I feel about Gonzaga players, and it's not like I have a hatred
You
for
hate them.
Gonzaga. It's my point is that 3/4 of their games they're playing like
Are you gonna say that
low
about- are you gonna say that
Division
about
1
Holmgren
competition.
Are you going to say that about Holmgren this year? Next year's number
my
one pick?
point is like it's like you said Green only played 12 games or whatever it was, 15 games. Could you honestly say that Gonzaga played 15 games that were even close to that competition?
Probably not. No.
No, you'd
Here's
probably
what-
say
here's what-
6.
okay.
Maybe against
Here's
their
what I
maybe against their
7.
second team,
And they're not getting beat up
maybe
all
in
year.
practice.
They're not getting
Here's-
beat up all year. These guys can relax.
Yeah.
Here's where I disagree with that, though. Suggs is the first like blue chip one and done player they ever had.
Yeah.
He could have came out if they would have let him come out of high school. He'd have
would've
came out of
come
high
out.
school.
No, well,
he's that talented.
I agree
And
with that.
Holmgren's the same way.
Yeah.
Like they're getting recruits now that are like one and done recruits that they never got before.
Right, and he was the only guy in that national
but you don't
championship
think
game
that he
still
looked
showed
better? I mean, I get that what you're saying, but you don't think he looked a little bit better because he played? It's kind of like the Boise State type deal. If you put a 5-star on Boise State, he's gonna running back. He's gonna look amazing all year, and he's probably still gonna look pretty good. He's gonna look really good against good teams, but he didn't get beat up all year. You put Suggs in the Big Ten, and he's gonna have bruises. He's gonna be beat down
he
all
would've been
season.
fine.
It's a different.
he's
It's a
been
different
fine,
game.
yeah.
I agree it's a different game,
I
but
disagree.
he's that talented.
Yeah,
He's
'cause
that
No,
talented.
It didn't look
I didn't
any
say he
different.
wasn't talented.
It didn't
I'm
look
just
any
saying,
different against
I think
high
it
level.
makes a difference.
Like
But
in the
that's only
tournament,
5 games. Your
he didn't look.
confidence
He
is
didn't
gonna
look
be
any
high.
different in the tournament. Like
Yeah,
I
he didn't.
didn't watch him in the
didn't.
tournament and be like, man, he's overmatched.
It's like
Yeah.
to me, it'd be like if obviously he's talented. He's been playing AAU his whole life, but then you play against these guys that aren't even the same caliber as the guys you've been playing in AAU, and it's easy, and you're dominating. Your confidence just keeps building and building and building, and then you go and play these harder teams, and your confidence is so high by the time you get there. Like where if you play a harder,
I see what you're saying, but I
I just think
disagree.
it's a harder road in a harder conference.
I
I'm
just-
saying it's a
I-
harder
I
road.
just think
I'm not
that-
saying he wouldn't have been like awesome like he was.
Wouldn't have mattered, yeah.
I'm just saying like it's a harder road.
I don't
That's
know,
all.
man.
I mean, that's how I feel.
I
I mean,
I
I
guess
get what you're
yeah.
saying. I get what you're saying, but I just think that
I actually think he could have been like showed out more if he had played for a different team because he's on a team that's super talented and he didn't just to get to like do whatever he wanted.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
he
his
had to
numbers
defer-
are-
he had
his
to defer
numbers-
at times.
his numbers were very modest because
Yeah.
he's playing on a team with Kispert and Timmy and these guys who are
He
like
had
all
to give
American
up a lot of
players.
shots. Like
Yeah,
Cade,
and he only
Cade
averaged-
got to
he only
run the
averaged-
show.
14-5 this year. He didn't. His numbers didn't set the world on fire, but again, you're on a team with 2 other All Americans,
Yeah.
so it's like I get it.
Yep. All right, number 5. I'm going to let you go first, Joe. Lead off for your Orlando Magic perpetually falling.
This is going to surprise. Well, okay. First of all, it's funny. Right before the lottery, I'm at work. I said to my buddy, he goes, "What picks do you think your Magic are going to get?" I said, "If the Bulls are slotted at 8, I said we're going to end up with 5 and 8." And I was right. We got 5 and 8.
There you go.
Because that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
All right. So here's the thing: we have nobody on this team that can score. Nobody. Fultz, we'll get you 12 to 15. Cole Anthony's solid. Isaac's okay. These guys are okay. I'm going to throw a little wrench in this.
Oh.
He's going to be a lottery pick, but I would take him because I've seen enough of him to know that he can score, and that's Book Knight from UConn.
Oh, okay.
Because right now he's every mock draft he's in the top 10, but
he's really been rising too.
Yeah, he's been going
He can
up.
score, man. I've watched a lot of him being a Big East fan, and he dropped 40 one night. I mean, he can play. He reminds me of like a CJ McCollum, D'Angelo Russell type. Like a combo guard, can play both spots. He's a little bigger. He's 6'5", and he can score, and we need someone who can score in the worst way. I don't want another forward. I don't want Scotty Barnes. I don't want Kuminga. We already got 1,000 forwards. We'll probably re-sign Al-Farouq Amino in the offseason because that's what we do.
You need him.
You know, so
you need him because Jonathan Isaac gets hurt every year, so you got to sign him.
You're not concerned
Give me
by
a guard that
his
can score.
poor 3-point shooting?
Terrible 3-point shooting.
Yeah, he's not
29%.
That's pretty.
Pretty bad.
That's pretty bad for college.
But he thrives in the mid-range game. He gets to the basket. He gets fouled. He gets to the foul line. I'll take all those things. If he can work on his 3-point shooting, I'll take my chances. I don't need another forward.
Wow.
I don't. We have a million.
That's how you get yourself in trouble in the draft right there.
I don't know. I like Scotty Barnes a lot. Scotty Barnes is like
that's who I'm
athletic
taking.
Draymond Green. But
right.
athletic Draymond Green right now is not going to help my team score points. And we need to score points. We can't. So
I like it.
I'm taking Barnes.
Scotty Barnes.
I'm taking Barnes.
I'm doubling down on that too.
They said he's a little Magic Johnson
From Florida too. Florida State.
Yeah, I think that. I don't think you can go with.
He's got that mentality. I've heard. Joe,
I heard
like
that Boone Knight. Somebody said
again, I like Scotty Barnes a lot. And trust me, if we took Scotty Barnes
So
at 5
versatile.
and Book Knight was there at 8, I'd be thrilled if we walked away with both of them.
Trade.
But I just don't think Book Knight's going to end up being there at 8.
So you're just you're taking him hoping Barnes falls maybe.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to. I actually think Barnes might end up in the top 4. But
yeah, see, yeah,
you know, apparently Toronto really likes Barnes. So.
I think they should. I think he could be. I mean, you could flip that and have
massive potential, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But he's the definition of massive potential. Like,
Yeah.
he's a complete.
But is that what you need if you're
but he's
Orlando? Though?
huge.
He's long.
He's 6'9", 7'3" wingspan.
Yeah.
Like that's massive.
Handle the ball.
Yeah, that's the opposite of Davion Mitchell.
We do need that to some degree, but I don't know, man. I don't look. Let's be honest. Magic are never going to be good anyway. It doesn't really matter in the end.
I mean, man, you got 2 lottery picks this year. The future. You're
Don't worry, we'll mess it up.
You're the
We'll
bright
mess it up.
future
Don't worry.
Suns now. You're on the Suns
No, we're
track.
not. No, we're not. That team will never be good.
Jonathan Isaac comes back. He's healthy. Markelle Fultz year 2.
Yeah.
Cole Anthony
Yeah, I know.
just
I
draining
know.
threes.
I mean,
team.
yeah.
All right, number 6. Who you got, Robert?
At number 6.
Yeah.
Is that OKC?
That's OKC with the 9. How many lottery picks do they have in the next few years? They're like 50.
I believe it's 17 in the next 5 years or something. 17 first round picks in the next 5
So
years.
don't worry, you got plenty more.
I'm
but
switching him.
very
I
good.
think that Book Knight goes next
Yeah,
pick.
I mean,
So you're taking Barnes 5, Book Knight 6.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, I would if I took Book Knight 5, then Barnes 6. I mean, again, like Scotty Barnes got a lot of potential.
I just think
he could be very good, so.
there's like once you get to this point, not that they're not good players, but there's about 3 or 4 players that I honestly think that got high ceilings that are going to be. It's going to be hit or miss. So, like they could be superstars, or they could just be really good role players.
Yeah.
Like you just don't know what you're. I mean, it's just whoever you like. I guess when you bring in, during your workouts, whoever worked out the best for you and you feel the most comfortable with.
Yeah, definitely. I actually am going to go a little further down. I'm going to take Australian guy. I'm going to take Josh Giddey here for the Oklahoma.
He's going to the
City.
Pacers. Not going to happen.
I like him a lot. Oh, yeah, exactly. White guy to the Pacers, of course.
He's not dropping past 13.
I know. Well,
Him
I'm
or
sure he's
Crispy
not.
or whatever his name.
Right now, he's going 6 to the Oklahoma City. I just think he's got elite skill. That's passing. They're not going to be good next year. He's big. If he can, he's got an all right looking shot. It's not going in a lot right now, but I just think Oklahoma City's not going anywhere next year. He's a guy that can develop.
He's not even 19 years old yet either.
I know, super young. I love that.
OKC is the team that can wait on him.
That's right. I love it.
They have all these picks. They are not going to be good. They can wait on him forever.
Take him. Tell him to go back to Australia for a year.
Yeah, play a year. Exactly.
You don't even need to come over next year.
Yeah.
Why would you take him over Moody?
I just think that he ceiling. I just think I did not like
potential.
I did not like Moody. Speaking of people in the tournament, like I did not like Moody
Really?
in the tournament. I thought he played poorly. I thought that his shoot, again, shooting guard that can't shoot. You were talking about that earlier.
He shot 36% from three.
He did, but I mean, it's not a good looking shot. Like it's not.
I
worry about
Moody.
technical skill, and I just don't. I don't know. I think his measurables weren't great either, if I'm remembering.
I don't love Moody. I think he's going to end up being a lottery pick still in the end. But
Really?
I think so.
I mean, he's projected in every mock draft I look at. They're still projecting him top 13 every match.
Man, I don't know.
So I know. I mean, again, I don't love him. I don't think he's bad, but
Yeah.
this is all. Let's be honest. Half these guys are going to stink.
What do you think about like going off the board for the other guy from Baylor? Because we're getting now to the 7th pick, Golden State. He was initially ruled out because of medicals, but now he's been cleared medically. I mean, he was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Mitchell projects better to the NBA because he's a better defender and he's more athletic, where Butler is not as athletic as Mitchell is.
He's a bucket getter, though.
But he can score. That's the he's going to find. Look,
if you're like in Book Night, I mean, he seems like a guy that's in that vein, right?
Problem for Butler is he's an undersized too, essentially.
Right.
Size of a point guard, plays shooting guard, but he's going to find a spot in the NBA and he's going to be fine. He's going to have a career in the NBA for sure. I think he'll end up being a first round pick, but probably mid to late first round, probably. But I think Mitchell projects a little better. He's a little older, but he's a better athlete, plays better defense.
Got it.
So I think that'll help him probably.
All right, number 7, we've got the Golden State Warriors.
It's not going to be Golden State, whoever this guy's playing for, probably.
No.
I think Kuminga. I think he's another one with really high potential. Jaylen Brownish potential, maybe something like that. 6'7" wing that can do a lot. Jaylen Brown improved his game a lot, man. He became a great shooter. He wasn't a great shooter coming out of college, so I think Kuminga could be kind of the same.
You're not worried about like some of the off-court stuff where people are really kind of questioning just his, mentality and just
look, you got to if
basketball
that's the thing,
IQ. That doesn't seem to fit with the Warriors, right?
He ain't going to the Warriors.
We
whoever picks 7, whoever the Warriors trade with is obviously.
If you're the Warriors, though, you've got guys that can play right now. Why not take Davion Mitchell?
No, now, if you're the Warriors, you have to double down, probably trade both picks, and try to go get maybe Bill.
So you don't think?
Maybe Lillard.
So you don't think? Yeah, but what if that's not out there? That's if that's out there.
Even if they're not out there, like I would still trade and get even Miles Turner. Like Curry's only got a little window left.
So
and like Klay Thompson, you're going to throw it all away with these young guys. They're not going to be happy.
Miles Turner than picking Kispert and Davion Mitchell.
If I was the Warriors last year, I would have much rather had Miles Turner than Wiseman. Like it's not even questionable. If they would have done last year, think about it.
If I can get Miles Turner for Wiseman, sure.
No,
but
I'm not trading. That was the number 2 pick last year.
Turner.
That was the number 2 pick last year.
Here's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Here's the way I look at it. So if you're the Warriors and you don't make a trade before the draft, you want to try and keep these picks as valuable as possible, right? So to me, if I'm the Warriors,
pick a guy that's not going to play.
pick a guy that's got incredibly high potential, because that'll make it more fun. That'll make it more attractive to a Washington, to somebody like that.
How'd that work out for Phoenix this year?
Is Davion Mitchell more attractive to Washington, or is Kuminga more attractive to Washington? He's got higher potential. That's what I'm saying. Definitely. You got to keep the value in those picks. If you don't trade it before draft night, you got to keep the value in those.
Is there
picks.
value in? Wiseman lost all his value. He's got tons of potential, but no value right now. I mean, he had all of the value before the draft.
I think he still has value. Yeah. I think it's just the situation.
Not the same as he did before the draft.
I think it's more the situation the Warriors are in. If they could wait on him, then he would have value. But they need to have another player. So they're willing to give up on him.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
to get another player. If he was for a bad team, they wouldn't be doing it.
Of course, I agree with both of you guys. I'm trading for Bradley Beal. I'm trading for Damian Lillard. But those guys don't necessarily. That's not necessarily. That's up to Portland and Washington. If they're not going to offer those guys, it doesn't matter. Then I think you have to take guys that help you this year. Like assuming
that you're Portland,
that they can help you. Like you've got a team that's going to be good. Like they're going to contend. I think whether
Who?
they trade for someone or not. Like if you
Golden
if,
State?
yeah, if you
No.
if you roll out
Yeah, I agree.
Draymond, Wiggins, Clay, Curry, like
Yeah.
you're going to be in the playoffs. And if you've got a
Yes.
couple guys
Yeah.
that are coming off the bench that
We
are
don't-
real contributors, I
We
think
don't
you
know
got a
what Klay
shot.
Thompson's going to be. Like,
Well, Durant
I mean, we're
Durant
hoping
looked
that
okay.
Klay Thompson's close. Yeah, well, that's one guy.
Well,
He's
yeah,
also
okay,
7
well,
he
foot
doesn't even have
tall.
to be Durant, though.
Here's the thing: Klay Thompson, his game is not built off athleticism.
Right.
So
It isn't, but he
injuries-
hadn't played
It's
2
not going to
years.
hurt him. This guy scored 60 points on 11 dribbles.
No, I'm not saying he's not going to come back and be a good. I'm just
What I'm
saying,
saying
we
is-
don't know how long it's going to take for him to get to that
His,
level.
his,
Right.
his defense will suffer a little bit. His defense won't be as good.
He hasn't played
But
an NBA game in 2 years. Like, it's still going to take time to get back
I
into
agree.
it.
So get
All I'm
Kispert,
sa-
who could so they can manage him a little
All
bit.
I'm saying is this. Here's the way I look at it, though. Okay, Kuminga, let's say you take Kuminga, right? And you don't make a trade for Bradley Beal. Well,
He
it's
doesn't even
not
get on the
bad.
court.
Okay, fine, but it's not bad to have a Kuminga and a Weissman now, where if this doesn't go well in the next 2 years and they do have to, and this team does dissipate, now you're at least set up with some young talent that could potentially be good.
I mean-
you have to look at it that way.
If you're Portland,
You have to.
and I offer you the 7th, the 14th, and Wiseman for Lillard, you're not thinking about it?
I don't take it.
No,
I don't take it
it.
if I'm Portland.
First
I
of
mean,
all,
what's
I don't
Portland
think
think it's better?
I don't think Lillard's going anywhere this
Yeah.
year. That's the first
That's
thing.
the
I think
thing,
this
like,
year. I think
ju-
this year he's there still.
Yeah, I just think as a Bulls fan, and you'd say this as a Magic fan too, like when your team has been terrible and not in the playoffs for X number of years, like the last thing you want is to trade the best guy maybe in your franchise's history for a bunch of nonsense. Like, I mean, all those guys
but
could be good,
All he has
but they
to
could
do
all
is
stink.
say, I mean, look at James Harden. He just said, I'm out. So that could be the same
Yeah, but
situation Portland's in.
He's
I
got
mean,
4 year. No, it's different because he's got 4 more years. Like,
hey, if
4
they don't
more
come to
years.
play and there's I mean, Harden just basically just gave up. Like he's
They
like,
still
It's a little different.
and they still got value for Harden. I'd
did.
hold
I mean,
them
did
to
they
that.
get the value that they could have got for him if
Probably
he wasn't?
not, but I mean, they could have still got Ben Simmons, and if they'd wanted
They
it.
could have, yeah.
So they probably would have rather had that as they're looking at it now. But I don't know. All right, Golden State's off the board. We got one more Orlando here for Joe. We're gonna let him choose the eighth.
You know who I
eighth
like?
pick.
You know who I like a
you
lot,
got?
and I think you'll agree with me is Kispert.
Wow,
He can shoot the
There
lights
you go.
out. He can shoot
Bobby
the
hates
lights
it because
out,
he
man.
hates Gonzaga.
No, I like him.
is-
I just don't think he
if
goes that
he's-
high.
He's going to be a lottery pick most likely. Or top 15,
He's
I'd
pretty
say it
athletic
works.
too.
I mean, you're
here's the
taking him
thing.
over the guy from Duke, that Jalen Johnson, the 6'9".
the guy that quit on his team. Yeah.
Yeah, but-
I have an issue with Jalen Johnson for that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
really do.
But I
You
get
don't
that,
walk
but
out in the middle of
still-
the season.
somebody's not going to have an issue. They're going to be willing to take the
That's
chance.
like the most not you thing ever. The dude that quit on his team mid season for no particular reason. You want that guy on the Orlando Magic? Why would you want that?
because it's the Orlando
Talk about-
Magic,
talk about culture,
and that's something they
killer.
would do.
You think he's not
My
going to
team-
quit on them midway through next year when he sat on the bench
Hey,
for 6
Orlando
months?
quit on the whole team last year. They just traded everybody.
We had to. It was time. What are we going to be a 7 seed for the rest of our lives? Either blow it up or like, what are we doing
Yeah,
here?
it's over.
I was thrilled when they traded everybody.
I liked your big guy.
I did too.
You
but what are we getting?
probably still got stock in Mo Bamba. You want
Hold
Mo
on, I
Bamba?
got
Mo
stock.
Bamba's going?
Hold on. Let's talk for a second about the Magic, real quick. Drafting Mo Bamba and then re-signing Vucevic was the dumbest thing a team could do.
Worst.
Let's re-sign a guy for 4 years so Bamba can never play, which is what we did. Now we finally blew it up because we were tired of being the 7 seed or 8 seed every year because
Yep.
that's all we are. So let's break it all down and let's go from there. Bamba actually played well last year. We got minutes finally at the end of the season. So let's see what a full season does.
Actually played well. Well, what's your definition of
He
actually?
never played. He never played.
So you're saying he played?
There's a reason. There's a reason that he never played. Remember the
Yeah, because
Phoenix,
they
the
had
Phoenix
an
Suns?
all-star center on the team.
The Phoenix Suns
They had
had
an all-star center on the Magic.
So you're hoping he's Jermaine O'Neal. Is that what you're hoping?
He's
He just
hoping.
needed a
Look, man,
chance.
he's only 21 years old.
He just needed a chance.
I know.
I think he looks
know.
terrible. I've seen.
Hey,
I've seen
everybody's
it.
got to have hope.
He's got
I'm
enough
a Pacer
minutes.
fan.
He's
I
got
hope a
enough
lot.
minutes.
No, he hasn't. Go look at the minutes he played this year and tell me he got enough minutes.
Well, enough minutes for me to see.
I know. You made your decision. All I know is if he does play well this year, you're the first person I'm going to text.
Yes.
Hold on, just like you ragged on Ben Wallace, and now he's going in the Hall of Fame where it belongs.
Wait till Robert Ory's in there. That's coming, by the way.
It's not.
I still got stock. Robert Ory is gonna. He's gonna be walking across. That's the first person I'm texting both of you guys when Robert Ory gets the call for the Hall. It's happening. It's happening.
Unbelievable.
All right, so we're gonna bring it back around here to Michigan. I'm taking you to your Orlando Magic, Franz Wagner. I'm sending him
Franz Wagner.
I like that pick. I think he's got a lot of upside, but he can also play right away for them a little bit. So a guy that doesn't have to ride the pine for them. If Isaac doesn't, needs more time to come back next year or gets hurt again, he slides right in there.
That's a number 8.
That's a number 8.
See, I think he goes later. I think he goes 14 if the Warriors don't trade their pick.
I just think he's
so
better.
I think he's like a good bench player they could have.
Yeah. I just think he's better.
I do agree. He could help anybody right now, probably a little bit. I mean, he's not fully developed yet, but
he isn't a superstar, but he's going to help a team.
And if he can shoot, he could be really good.
Good role player.
Yeah. Who are you taking?
Which one?
8. Robert's not in love with the eighth pick right now.
No, like I said, it's just.
You got Giddey still out there for you. Jalen Johnson, who you love, apparently.
No.
Your boy Davion Mitchell, who's 5'9".
He's not going there either. He's going to fall down.
He's not 5'9". He's tall.
I know he's 6 foot. I wish I was 6 foot.
Troy Murphy there.
Trey Murphy.
Troy Murphy.
Troy Murphy.
He was good too. Yeah,
he was good for the Pacers there for a little while.
Kai Jones, super athletic.
He's Jackson Hayes all over again.
I know he is. Yeah, but you never know. Maybe he's a little.
You
I
know.
don't know.
He's passing. He's passing on the pick.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. The Magic should just pass.
Yeah, they should pass. All right, I'm wrapping it up. Then I'm talking a little bit more about Michigan. Chris Webber versus Giannis. If Webber was around, got drafted, this year. Does he because I think that if you play out Weber's career, 10 times, he maybe got one of the worst versions of it. Like he goes to that.
And he's still in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he goes to that Golden State team where it's just kind of weird with Sprewell, and then he gets traded to Washington. He gets into like some weird stuff there where he's, smoking weed before smoking weed was popular. Yeah. And, gets into a little bit there and, gets hurt then. It just had a career where he gets in the Hall of Fame, but I think was worse than what it would have played out at most. If you play it back a few times, I think he could be like potentially an MVP of the league. Like he was an unbelievable talent in Michigan. That Fab Five team was crazy, but he was the transcendent player on that team.
I mean, I forget which draft we did. We talked about him. He was in
93.
Yeah, 93. I mean he definitely was a great player and he had a lot of potential. I mean, Giannis is just his name says it all. He's just a freak.
Yeah.
Like,
Weber was just like that, though.
No, but physically, Giannis wasn't
as big.
Level.
Like,
really?
What is Giannis's wingspan?
It's absurd.
I don't know. They're probably pretty close. They're comparable.
I don't know. This is something we're going to have to look up. Because what's Giannis, 7 foot?
7 foot, 240 long.
What's Weber? Like 6'10",
240. Not as long, that's for sure. Stronger, but not as long.
Yeah,
so
he's
had a 7'3" wingspan. That's the Greek freak. And let's see what Weber's was.
I'm gonna say like 7 foot.
Still,
I'm not.
Big hands too.
Oh, 7'4".
Oh, thank you.
Right.
So,
but.
Could he? And he comes up in the 90s. Like he's coming up in 1993. Like he comes up through AAU today. He's definitely. I'll tell you what. You guys should look at the guy who's the number one prospect over Amani Bates now. That's playing this Jalen Duran. He should be on Team USA right now. That dude is an absolute stud. Huge, super strong. Like he looks like Amari Stoudemire. Like that guy. I've never seen anybody look as much like Amari Stoudemire.
He's stronger than he should be at that age.
He is like freakishly strong for his age. Like he looks absolutely
He's
ridiculous.
built.
He looks ridiculous out there.
Yeah,
Like I was
he's
like,
not,
oh my god,
he's not one of those kids you look at like a homegrown and you're like, he's got to gain weight. He's got
exactly
to
like Holmgren. I'm like, that guy looks like he's breaking half
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the home grid? Like, you think that he's gonna be good in the pros, or is he just too small? I mean, I know he's tall. I'm talking about his frame.
Define good. Like we're now getting into next year's draft.
Yeah.
Well, no, because you guys talked about it. And,
We should circle back to Michigan for a second.
Yeah.
but back to Michigan, the swirl back. The Weber thing now, he could shoot better, though, than Giannis, right?
I thought so.
He was a little bit better shooter. He was.
I guess if you threw him in today's draft and you let him be like the point forward and bring the ball down the floor.
He was a really good passer, too. Underrated.
Yes. Very good passer. Look.
Did he
his
lose?
best year.
Just saying.
He could
All
have.
right, hold on. Take Weber's best year. His best year was 01 in Sacramento. He was first team All NBA that year. He averaged 27, 11, and 5 that year. That's a great stat line.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But that's the only year he got that kind of stat line. He was first team All NBA.
No, I know. I'm just saying,
like,
if you play his career back, right? I agree he's not Giannis, but I think
Weber lacked something as far as like his own motivation, work ethic, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Like he had all the talent in the world for sure. I mean, he was one of the most talented players.
So
you'll
maybe
ever
too
see.
much too soon.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, that Warriors thing was dysfunctional right out of the gate. I mean,
Yeah.
he gets traded after his rookie year.
Yeah.
But him in Sacramento was the best version of Weber.
Oh,
by
for
far.
sure. He was unbelievable. Like such a cool player. Like that's the thing that people don't remember. And he was great at Michigan. I loved that Michigan team.
And every team he went to got better. He went to the Bullets and the Wizards. They made the playoffs. He went to Sacramento. They made the playoffs. So they didn't win a title, but he definitely improved every team he went to.
And I think they could have won. They could have won it that one year where they got unlucky versus the Lakers.
Well, they got hosed. Well, they got hosed with the refs.
I think they win it that year. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
They would have played
Definitely.
what? They would play New Jersey. They would have beat New Jersey
They would
for
have
sure.
I know. So
yeah.
Yeah. I
I
don't
think
know.
it's good.
Unfortunate,
So,
but
saying.
how about
still in the Hall of
this?
Fame.
I asked
Still in the Hall
Aaron
of
this the other day. So, do you think Shaq coming in today's NBA, he could have been like the freak?
I don't. I think
Like, because he
Weber's
was
more
so
like-
mobile when he came in. Maybe
I do agree with that.
Maybe he could have
Young
developed
Shaq
into
is-
him.
Young Shaq is one of the scariest athletes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I don't see the lateral. I don't see the
See,
fluidity.
because I think
in
that
him.
he got big because the league was like that. Like, maybe he stays small.
I don't know, man.
He could dribble a little bit when he got in the
He
league.
does like to eat. He does like to eat. That's his problem.
You need to watch some of the LSU Shaq. Like that dude was always going to be.
I don't
a
know. I
beast.
watched him
Like,
in Orlando Magic Shack, and he went behind his back full court and dunked it.
I don't think
like it was still pretty impressive for a guy.
You
his
act
size.
you act like it was. He had to get bigger. I think that he just got bigger.
Yeah, but he
think
not
so.
only got bigger. Like
I don't
he
think
didn't
he
get
was
fat.
like,
He still got muscular.
I know,
though.
but I don't think like his. I think his frame was like different than Giannis.
I mean, look how much bigger Giannis has got since he's gotten
But
in
he
the
has to
NBA.
work so hard to be even that size. Like Shaq, I think just like naturally got bigger and like less mobile. Like as he grew into like a man's
I guess
body.
that's the good question. Like, when does Giannis stop trying to get bigger? Because I mean,
don't think
he
gets
is.
any bigger.
You don't think? I mean,
No, I
he
think
is
he's
dramatically
kind of
bigger.
perfect where he is.
Yeah,
I think he's perfect where he is.
Because he'll lose, like, again, I think that, and I mean, he might want to at some point. Like, the thing is, of course, as you lose some athleticism, maybe you give that up to become even bigger and then just become more a brute force rather than
I mean, if he keeps getting bigger, I mean, how dangerous is he going to go in the lane?
He's so fluid right now. You don't want to compromise your fluidity.
Maybe he
Like,
becomes
that Euro
Zion.
Step, that Euro step is tough on the knees, and if you weigh 20 pounds more, it becomes. That's what we worry about with Zion, right? Is like that.
Well,
He's an amazing.
He's always going to get
He
it.
moves amazing, but I mean, at 280, 300 pounds, it's scary to watch that amount of force applied to your body. So
Giannis, the way Giannis filled out has reminded me of the way Garnett filled out. Garnett came in super skinny, and by the time he reached his prime, he was like 240, 250, and he stayed there the rest of his career. And I think Giannis is kind of where he's going to be for the rest of his career as far as size.
should be.
So,
That should be his goal.
good. Yeah, he should stay where he's at.
But to go back to Holmgren, do you think
he can gain that much muscle?
Well, do you think who's playing with what's the tall guy with Luca? Why am I blanking on his name right now?
Oh,
Porzingis.
Yeah, like he
Do you
needs to
think
get
he's
bigger.
good? But do you think he's good? Like I'd say, like that's
He
That's a
is.
player.
Yeah.
He is, but he can never stay on the floor.
Right.
Like
But
he's
that's-
always
he's hurt.
hurt.
That's
So
sort of
that's what I
what-
mean. Like,
that's probably what
is that
Holmgren
what
is.
is he going to be?
probably. I would
But
worry. I would worry
wouldn't you
that. I
think
would worry about that.
Watching some of the videos, it almost seems like he's a better ball handler though than Porzingis.
He is. He's a better. He's more
He
of he's got more of a perimeter game than
Yeah.
Porzingis has, but he is so skinny.
Yeah.
He looks like he's gonna break
Scary.
sometimes.
Yeah, how
like you just
skinny he
worry
is.
his leg's just gonna snap.
Like he weighs
You know?
he weighs less than I do.
Yeah, he's gonna get.
Seven. And he's
I
like
mean, he pushed
7'3".
around like nothing, right?
Right. But
I mean, look what happened to Sean Livingston, how skinny he was though, and then he
Yeah.
snapped his leg
Yeah.
and what it did to his career. You know what I mean? Like when you're that skinny, you're running a risk. He's gonna have to fill out. He has to because
Well, I mean, you will some.
he will naturally.
Yeah.
People fill out naturally as they get older.
I mean, maybe
So-
he'll be like Jonathan Bender.
That's bad.
No, I mean
that's
he
a
had,
bad one.
Yeah,
No,
wow.
I'm just saying,
All-time
though.
draft bust.
Yeah, but he had
yeah.
he was unlimited potential. Like
He was
he
the best high school player in the country that year.
yeah, he was crazy
was.
good.
Didn't he break
But he
Michael
couldn't stay
Jordan?
healthy.
Didn't he break
stay
Michael
healthy.
Jordan's
When he played-
McDonald's All-American
McDonald's,
scoring
yep.
record?
But he
Yep.
couldn't stay healthy. He ended up inventing something for the legs. I can't remember what he invented, but
I don't know. That's the scariest comparison.
Well, that's the
Chet,
truth, though.
Chet
Like
Holmgren's,
Bender.
Chet Holmgren's agent is going to erase our podcast from the internet.
He still got paid, though. He still
Scrub
worth
this
it.
from the internet because that might scare anyone off of him for next year's draft. Jonathan Bender comparison.
Oof.
I
Oof.
mean, I don't know. I don't trust people that are that skinny.
But again, you
So
fill out as you get
we've
older.
learned two things about Bobby: hates Gonzaga and
No,
doesn't trust people who are
You're
skinny.
No, I never said I hated Gonzaga. I said that
Definitely
I
said he hated
feel
Gonzaga.
like the schedule favors the players so they can get more rest.
Right, favors.
They don't get
favors
beat up
the
as
players,
much. It
that's
helps
right.
their confidence.
That's right. All right, all right, guys. I'm gonna get us out of here. All right.
Them are
We'll
harsh
check
words.
back in after the draft. See how we all did. All right. That's,
Hey, it was
that's
good
the
seeing
best
you,
part
Joe.
of these.
All right, appreciate
All right,
it, guys.
yep.
Always.
Thank you for listening to the 19.9 podcast. If you haven't already subscribed to the podcast, make sure you do. And while you're at it, leave us a rating or review. 5 stars only, like the basketball camp. We also have links to all of 19.9 social media so you never miss a release. Until next time.